I'm here today as a resident of Phillipsburg, a place I've called home for 40 years, and a place where I chose to raise my family. My son's a Phillipsburg police officer. A majority of the officers on the department went to school with my son. I watched them grow up together, play sports together, and then dedicate themselves to serve and protect the very town they grew up in. And I'm very proud of all of them for that. When the whole problem and its severity was discovered in the municipal building, the courts, elected officials, and office staff kind of ran out like the building was on fire. And they kind of left the police behind with a promise to get them out as soon as possible. Since then, many suggestions for temporary or permanent locations have been proposed, but no action taken. I'm not sure if this is because the locations were not suitable or whether politics played a role. Many things have to be considered when moving a police headquarters. Whether it be temporary or not, there's specific rules, and you would know this. I mean, specific rules for evidence storage, weapon storage, the detention of prisoners prior to transport to a county facility. Of the suggestions I heard, only one location actually fits that bill, and you already own that particular location. Bottom line is this: every officer, or every call that these officers respond to, there's a danger involved, potential for danger. The town has made progress in providing the training and equipment necessary to enhance officer safety, but for 2 years have left them in danger while changing in the locker room or running the reports or processing prisoners. I lost a daughter to an unpreventable and incurable cancer. The potential health issues that endanger these officers, including my son, are preventable, and anything less than an immediate bipartisan solution is unforgivable. You're all parents. You would not leave your children in that building. I think I speak on behalf of the parents of all of these officers when I say don't leave ours here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you. The next is, if there is no more public comment on agenda items, we will move forward to the administrative reports. Do we have a sewer subcommittee report?
No.
We don't. Okay. Do we have a redevelopment report?
Not at this time.
Okay. The landlord tenant subcommittee will be meeting next Wednesday in the municipal building at 6 p.m. Do we have a mayor's report?
We do. Bring you up to speed on the retrofitting of the armory and answer any questions you might have in the neighborhood preservation grant. The armory. I have been with health inspectors up to 3 times this past week to go through the municipal building, both police and administrative units. I've also been through the armory with RT Environmental and followed their instructions. They gave me orders to do additional asbestos testing. We have shifted from mold to asbestos. So far, where we had the panel drop in the locker room, there was no asbestos detected, 0. They are now inspecting the administrative unit where Rich Hay is, and in the meantime, I haven't obtained, but I have met with a AC HV contractor for mobile units that sit on the wall. They're called wall units. There's a compressor outside, they fit up to 3 units. We need a total of 15 of those units. They're Mitsubishi. They don't require any ducting, they don't require removal of the ceiling. I've also met with the painters today. They do painting and carpet, and I've also met with IT people that will be on the job shortly. They come through Bob Merlo. So we keep putting one foot in front of the other to retrofit the armory, regardless of what is swirling around us, and I should have prices soon. I do expect, as you heard from Sheriff McDonald, when it comes to cells, gun lockers, and evidence lockers, I don't know where that's going to go. It's very expensive, very complicated, regulated by the Department of Corrections. But I will keep you, informed of what those numbers look like. It's a task. We got a price for files and appliances at $64,000, and we go from there. By next meeting or in between that time, I will give you what quotes I receive, so you can get a handle on how much money we have and how much money it's going to take. Any questions on the armory, obtaining the quotes and retrofitting?
Does anyone on the panel? Councilman Lewis?
No.
Councilman Davis?
Not right now, thank you.
Councilwoman?
Yes. So it's not move-in ready, correct?
No, there's a lot of work.
And there's no HVAC in the building? Because we were
No.
told it was move-in ready. It's not move-in ready.
There is no HVAC in
And
this building.
there's no HVAC at all.
Window air conditioners.
Yeah, we've seen them for 20 years. And you don't have any prices yet on anything?
I
other
know
than
roughly
moving?
what each unit costs. Each wall mounted
Well,
unit
that's the
costs
HVAC.
about
Do we
21.
know, do we have a project cost on this?
No, it's coming together in different disciplines. Different disciplines that will only require code inspections, permits from Kevin Dudley, the work, and the permit inspections
When did we start working on this?
months ago.
But we don't have prices yet,
No, we do not.
or a timeline.
Or a timeline.
And we don't know where everything's going to go in the building.
We do.
Oh, I thought you just said we don't know where the equipment is going to go.
Well, we do up to retrofitting with paint, carpet, IT, air conditioning. The difficult items, as I explained, and I'll explain it again if I misled you, there are gun lockers with fire suppression, gun lockers, and also cells. There's one option to cells, and that is a bar. If we put a bar in, an officer has to stay with him, and it's about $25,000 a year for OT. Within a week, I should have some prices back.
How long will it take?
It's quick.
What's quick?
It's quick as far as...
We heard quick 2 years ago. What's quick?
What's 2 years ago? Where were you 2 years ago?
Down the street watching. I was actually in the building
Right.
a year and a half ago, looking at the
We
building.
never had an initiative to redo the Armory 2 years ago.
So we're just going to leave it there.
I don't understand.
I'd rather ask
2 years
publicly.
ago, we were supposed to, well, if this is what I think you're referring to, we have a set of plans for the Army that cost $75,000.
Okay, but we
That
never...
$75,000 is now waste
Okay, but
because you've decided that you want us at Corliss Avenue.
what never happened, though, was a plan for the rest of the municipal staff. So,
Right, well, we were in Freeman School safe. Safety came first. We wanted to get the police and fire safe.
that's what
They
I wanted
came,
to
they were to follow. You passed a $3.2 million bond to move forward, and then the bond was dismissed, and then you went with a 6.2 bond for Corliss Avenue. In June of this month, June of this year, the Armory would have been almost complete,
fully renovated,
fully renovated.
but we don't know how long it'll take to temporarily get these gentlemen out of
I'll
there.
move as fast as I can, but remember, I'm a mayor. Mayors usually don't go out and get bids for roofs and for painting and for air conditioning. But I do it because it's the right thing to do.
Would you like us to help?
Well, sure, I'll invite anyone to help, but it's a matter of gathering vendors and getting them out and showing the building.
We can do it.
Well, you're welcome. I'll be out there tomorrow.
I'll be in town Friday.
Well, I'll be out there Friday.
I'm good.
Council Vice President?
Have you taken any of our considerations that were set forth in many emails to you regarding different recommendations that would have move-in ready conditions, instead of starting in a hole $64,000 in a place that we're not really sure that's safe, and by your own admission, not even sure whether they can hold prisoners, and by all of our consensus, we know that I'm gonna move the mic closer. You might not be able to hear me the way you're staring at me, so I'll try a little bit louder.
Staring at you 'cause I'm-
You don't have to talk back. You're looking at me confused, so I'm gonna talk louder because maybe you can't hear me. Have you taken our recommendations? One second, sir. The many recommendations we've given you that would not touch a dollar of the $175,000 of moving costs. Have you taken any of that?
What were they?
Now, this is going back to the Kreskin talk. We're not going down that road. I'm asking
The
you.
what talk?
There we go again. Okay, so there you go, people. Take that for what you want, and then I'll continue asking my questions. The SOA said move out now. What is now?
You know what I see this as a setup, Mr. McDonald?
I'm not running.
And if you want to
I'm not running, and I'm not running again.
come up to
This
see...
is the most
I don't
Sir,
understand what you're talking
Sir, I was up there on June 29th.
Give me one recommendation, one.
One?
That I could carry
The
out.
Baranski office for $300,000.
That's ridiculous.
Well, you mentioned it at your meeting in front of the court clerk.
As a auxiliary location.
Gentlemen, Mayor, please.
You have no idea what you're
Mayor,
talking about.
Nobody has
Listen,
any idea. But
relax.
You're the smartest man in the room. I'm sorry, sir.
It's okay.
You should gavel.
Listen, both of you.
You know what I know.
Both of you.
Come on,
Please.
Just I'm asking questions.
All right? It's okay, I understand, but I'm trying to,
Yeah, I'm with you.
okay? It's
May I
not,
continue?
it's not constructive. I'm gonna ask you not to speak over each other, not to scream at each other. This is an issue that needs to be resolved, and needs to be resolved quickly. So, we're not gonna resolve it quickly by doing this, or pointing back and forth. Proceed.
I had a question. What does now mean to you?
That's ridiculous. I'm not playing.
When we got, what does now mean? Mr. Minor, please.
Now is tomorrow morning. Now is the day after. Now is the weekend.
I said to
Now
you
is
that
Monday.
now, when we got the SOA email from Lieutenant Matsko, now meant 30 minutes. And I called Council President Fulper. He contacted Lieutenant Matsko in 30 minutes. I contacted him in 40 after respected ranking tier of the president contacting me first, and I have not stopped working and suggestions to get those police out.
Could you provide the suggestions that you have?
They're all in Oprah emails. Oprah emails.
I don't have those suggestions.
Yes, you
I
do.
have one suggestion, I do believe, and it had to do with Journal of Commerce. Doesn't work. Does not work.
For the police officers in the room, the mayor has provided over 10 suggestions at zero cost that would get you out right now. In addition, there was emails, and I said that candidate Mark Lutz and Republican candidate Todd Trostigny would get them out within 24 hours given the task. I did say that, and you can open that. That's not a knock on you. That's a compliment on these gentlemen. It's simple. Now means now. I am done with the questions.
Good.
Thank you.
Do you have any others?
Mayor.
Please call.
Mayor, I do have a question. The Phillipsburg Housing Authority building was provided, I believe, at no cost to the town of Phillipsburg. I did email that to you.
You did?
And to Chief Stetner, and I did get Chief Stetner's response. The Zappa Plastics, the old Zappa Plastic building where Cherry Brook is, there is now 12,000 fully renovated, 12,000 square feet of space that would have allowed the police department to temporarily move in. We could have used a portion of that money to build out the bar, the jail cells. I'm just curious as to, one, why we chose to go back to the Armory where it's going to cost more taxpayer dollars.
In my opinion and my experience, it was the most practical.
So spending more money at that building was the most practical as opposed to the facilities that were fully renovated and free.
We own the building. Which buildings were free?
The Phillipsburg Housing Authority building was offered to us for
Right.
free, and I stand corrected on the Zappa Plastics buildings, it was $1 per square foot, which would have come to $12,000.
The Phillipsburg Housing Authority, I thought was inspected by the chief, and the chief rendered a decision it wouldn't work.
Right, and not to be disrespectful to the chief, but I've asked him multiple times for the state mandates that is continuously brought up. I've received nothing.
I've heard, and you will get them from Mr. Schreck.
Okay.
But Mr. Schreck is in possession of those standards.
So my only other criticism is, and it's not a criticism of you, it's just a question. 2 years ago, you had stated that there was no plan, but I have an email that states from you on November 21st, 2017 at 9:36 p.m. This was the evening that we were newly elected officials in the room with yourself, the previous council, 2 municipal attorneys, Rob Stetner and Rich Hay. Do you remember that?
I don't.
You don't.
Go ahead.
And that was the evening where Josh Davis, Councilman Davis, I apologize, Councilman, had asked Engineer Schreck to, one, continue with the engineering plans to renovate the armory, right? So we did have a plan, because I saw it that evening 2 years ago. I don't know why it was tabled, by the way. I went through all the minutes to try and find it. It was continuously tabled. Then to continue with the engineering and specifications of the new municipal building, the proposed new municipal building at the Armbar site, right? And then to start a new set of engineering plans and specs for the rebuilding of Corliss Avenue. Do you remember that?
I do.
Do you remember Mr. Schreck's response at that point in time?
It could be done, or, I know there was a $40,000 request to examine that building.
So he had said, please don't lock in the design or development or the cost of item 3 just yet. That was the item 3, which is to rebuild the Corliss Avenue building. I indicated that we would work this within the original appropriation. I'm thinking a 3-phase approach to the Corliss building is the most expeditious. Most expeditious meaning the most quick to get completed, correct? But I'm hearing that the armory is the quickest, when in fact, if we would have had the officers out, and again, I'm not going to criticize former council. I don't know what happened. I don't know why the officers weren't moved. Quite frankly, I'm still trying to figure that out myself. But they should have been moved by now. Right? Can we agree at that? Can we agree that they should have
May I
been?
respond?
No, please, absolutely.
Council President, we literally looked at every possible facility in the town of Phillipsburg. I drug every administrator, department head, police, fire, OME, to every possible building that may have been used by police and fire and administration, from the Elks, from one end of Main Street to the other, to the Andover School. And not one building was suitable, with attorneys, with engineers, with our professionals. That effort was very, very difficult, because we know we needed to move them. And that's the time that Mr. Councilman Lutz said, let's use our own property. Let's not buy property. Let's use what we own and save money. And that's when we ended up at the Armory. Mr. Schreck was instructed to do engineering and cost estimates for the Armory. You know the Armory came in high, right? Which put a chink in our armor. And then this council passed a $3.2 million bond, which wasn't enough money to meet the low bid vendor for the Armory. And then there was a committee, and then there was a $6.2 million bond.
6.5.
6.5, well, there's only 6.2 because some money has been used somewhere else. But that is pretty much the sequence of events that I have been following. And the other ones that you meant, there's one missing. There was a $40,000 cost estimate for the Corliss building that never really materialized. And if it's there, I don't know where it is.
So, obviously that would be prior to us taking office.
Yeah, right. The old council.
Okay.
And so right now, with the urgency from the New Jersey State Department of Health, who's ready to sue us on a daily basis, I need to move this armory. If you're opposed to the armory, I need to move to the armory, pardon me. If you're opposed to it, I need to know now, because I'm spending a lot of time with contractors getting prices. If you want me to look other locations, please say so.
Well, so what I want is I want a building that is much quicker than the Armory, right? I got Chief Stetner's email, I understand it, but what I'm hearing is a lot of Armory or bust. That's what I'm hearing. I think at this point in time, we have to take a look at want versus need, right?
Okay.
There may be some temporary setbacks, but they need to be out now. They did ask to be out now. As a matter of fact, there was calls to my home because they wanted to be out now, and I'm still being blamed, and I think we can agree that it's you had told me it's not my responsibility to move them, correct?
Uh,
Whose responsibility is it?
It is my responsibility to move. However,
That's all I'm asking.
Council President, I just want to make one statement, please.
Okay.
Let me speak. The council had decided that you're moving them back to Corliss Avenue. Everyone's moving back to Corliss.
Right.
So the council took on that responsibility. But when it became the responsibility for the mayor to move them because of safety reasons, it was my
Oh,
responsibility.
no, I wanted to move them. As a matter of fact, I had an email to you that made recommendations, and you told me that how could I control them? How could I make, how to say anything I didn't have any control over?
So guide me, whose final responsibility is it to move?
The final responsibility is for you to temporarily relocate the police department.
And I need money to do that.
And we have
Would you
allocated-
support me with money to do that?
So we've given you $175,000.
65 is gone and moving files.
So 65 is going already, moving files for the police station.
That's correct.
Okay.
For everyone.
Where are those files now?
They're at the Corliss Municipal Building. They'll be put in the armory. The
Wait.
plan was to put them in the armory, stay with me,
Okay.
within cages. Cages for the police, cages for the town clerk, cages for taxation, cages for DPW, cyclone fence cages that are locked, so they're secure.
So how come we couldn't put those cages at the housing authority building?
You'd have to ask the chief
Chief?
about the housing
You
authority.
need security.
But you still need security at the armory building.
Where is the housing authority you're speaking of? Because when I toured everything with Mr. Rummerfield, we went to individual rooms in different buildings. I can't put computer lines into five different places around town like that, especially the state mandated lines. That's a big hiccup with that. I mean, we could have, like, for example, there's an office down the hall here. We probably could have utilized that rather than had a trailer. In hindsight, we probably could have saved some money there. But what Mr. Rummerfield was offering wasn't anything where we could go in, move, do everything that we need to do to function, where we would be able to remove ourselves from Corliss Avenue.
And if we were to take the 12,000 square foot fully renovated building down to Cherrybrook, would we still be able, we'd be able to do those?
I'd have to
things?
see,
It's
I
not-
honestly,
it's
I
not-
couldn't.
it's not fully renovated. It's
Oh,
a big
okay.
open space,
Well,
Stand corrected.
gigantic
That's too
open
much.
space.
all right. So, I
I
mean,
mean, that's all that is.
we still run into some of the same problems. I need interview rooms, and I'm not even, I mean, you notice on my last few emails, I backed off the prisoner talk, other than
Right.
processing. I have to have state lines come in so that I can fingerprint people, so that we can do alpha tests, so we can do all that stuff. We have to have a safe place for our guys to operate. So you can't just do it in one, like, for example, Paul offered we can't do it there and nobody else is around, you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, Frank, you know, you've been doing law enforcement long enough. You know it's not that easy to go fragmented places.
Well, if you're asking, you said Frank, so now I'm going to reply, I'm going to respond. If Greenwich can do it, and many people, and if you're asking me, I can sit here for the next hour and a half and spell out how we built Kingwood and everything else, and how that worked, and how we moved that from Flemington. I will, so please, I'll just let you have your moment, because I'm not going to weigh in on this at all, because you don't want to hear what I have to say.
I want to hear.
Council President?
Yes.
A suggestion. Would you do a walkthrough with the in the armory?
Absolutely. How much more money do you need and how quick are we talking?
We can, as we go through room for room, I could ask the vendors that have already given, or taken their measurements to hurry up with the rust estimate. And if that gives you a better feeling over the overall retrofit, I'd be more than happy to take any council member room to room.
Listen, I'll do whatever it takes to get them out of there, but you have to remember, they're asking to be removed now.
Understood, and I have a health department official on my back daily that's threatening large sums of money in fines, and he has my number. So if you wanted to take council through the rooms, we will go through what is necessary for each room. IT, right, we have to get the IT out of work, because OEM cannot be 1 minute out of business. They cannot be without their communication for 1 minute in case there's a fire or hazard. Police cannot be either. I can take you from building to building to show you the IT that exists in the building, show you the paint that we need to do, show you the AC that we need to do, show you the carpeting we need to do, and then get into the more complicated problems of the police department. I think you'd have a better understanding, and we can put some numbers together as we walk and talk, so you know the final numbers.
I don't have a problem with that, but
I
absolutely.
think it's a great idea.
I would absolutely do that. I would ask the chief to be present as well, because I would like to, I'm gonna need to know. I'm not a police officer. I don't know what it takes.
I also recommend we bring Kevin Duddy so there's no obstacles in the way, that what we're doing is not engineering, and it's more so of obtaining permits from the town of Phillipsburg to finish it.
They're gonna be in that building
I
for
would think that.
about a year, according to Stan. So, once I wanna make sure that they're gonna be, when the building's ready to go, it's ready to go, and they're gonna be comfortable in there for a year.
And also, I'll share this with you, OEM and fire can be moved easier than the police department. Just as long as we have the IT in place, they can move from Corliss to Heckman very quickly. Matter of fact, they're going to be using some of the furniture that's already in the armory. So that's one down.
I just want to make sure that when I go home tonight, and this is all I'm asking, for every single person here in the room, I keep seeing they want to be moved out now.
I understand. The health
It's-
inspector is no different.
I keep hearing that we're not moving them, and they keep blaming council, they blame the mayor. But we're asking, I saw the chief's comment to the newspaper, and then I sent an email to the PBA representatives, Officer Kizelbach and Officer Amy, and if you guys are hired in officers, I apologize wholeheartedly for messing up your rank, asking if they were okay with that. I have not heard. I really would like to know from the gentleman of the police department that this is acceptable. Because if it's not acceptable, then we're gonna have to go another route, right?
No doubt.
So, are the PBA reps permitted to come up and at least let us know are they okay with this plan?
I'm not sure what the plan is.
I don't
We're talking about right now.
I'll tell you what, the armory could take, the last time I spoke with the mayor, you said 4 months, right? I'm sorry, Stan Trek, not you. Stan Trek, he said it could take 4 months to a year to retrofit.
Stan had told us originally when we were doing everything, 180 days. From the
Okay.
time I think from when we got bids back, I'd say that cautiously. So,
I say we invite the PBA along with us for that walk.
I would absolutely like to do that, because the last thing I want, and I really want this off my plate, I really want them out of the building. And I really want to stop seeing, that I personally lied to everybody, because I haven't personally lied to anybody. I've inherited this mess just like everybody else. Right? So if the PBA would like to come along, I'd like to bring them along. But I really want to know, for everybody here in the room, that this is an acceptable answer. This is what you're asking us.
Nothing's acceptable.
You're
You guys
right.
not doing your job, all around is not acceptable. I'm sick all the time. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And I'm sick and tired of it. All you guys want to do is fight back and forth up there.
It's not true.
It's ridiculous.
He's not the only one that's sick. We got multiple guys sick.
So you need to tell me.
We're okay with the plan, but it's 2 years, and we're waiting for somebody to get sick and die. And then what? We want it, when we say now, we mean we want you guys to move quickly, work together. The back and forth, I get it, right? You gotta put that aside. We got guys that are sick, multiple guys that are sick now, and that have been sick. And I'll speak just for myself. I have scar tissue on my lungs because of the mold. And it's not just a comp case. I have pulmonologists and allergists telling me that happened to me. But these guys go out there every day, answer their call with pride, put their lives on the line for everybody without question. With all that going on at that PD, they still put that badge on and respond. So we want you guys to work together quickly, as quick as possible, to make this happen. Our chief had said our recommendations, the best for us to operate and for the town, for response and for everything else is going to be Heckman Street, the Armory. I just beg that you guys work together so that no more guys get sick and that no one, God forbid, dies. Because we have an opportunity to fix this tonight. and move forward. My wife wanted to go down here with my kids to talk to you, to get us out. That's not her job. That's your job. That's my PBA SOA job. It's time to put that down and move forward. We will give our lives for the community, but we won't give it for asbestos and for mold. Let's get it together. Let's move forward together as a community, and get our men, and we have Ange, woman, out of that building as quick as possible. Not a year, 2 years. Let's get it done starting tonight, and no more. Put it aside. If you don't like each other, that's fine. But do it for us and our families. That's all I have.
I said we take that walk soon.
I'll do it tomorrow
I
night.
have to get one question out, and this is to the mayor. Has statewide management and John Moore been contacted about our workman's comp cases and the asbestos? Yes or no?
I'm gonna, yes, they,
Because, right, part of our job, and that was extremely heartfelt, and we all understand that if we don't, we're not human. But we have a job with a massive liability. And if statewide says to us, because it's been posted about the asbestos, and the workman comp cases keep coming, in my opinion, if it's justified as they should, that statewide management can say, get out now. All of you, now means kind of hurry up. No, when it comes to the state means now. We're protecting you, we're protecting us. And it's not a fight thing. It's not about who wants what. When the state comes breathing down our neck over liabilities and insurance, they may say none of this is covered. Now we got all this, I don't even want to think about not even being covered by insurance. So this is not easy for me or easy for us. It's not. Now means now, and I said it tonight and I'll say it again, because when the phone call comes in, they're going to look at you. They're not going to come to us. I'm protecting you, and we're protecting you, and we're protecting us. I'm not being hard about it. I'm being real. That's what's behind the scenes. Legal stuff, and stuff to get people covered under insurances that are sick. That's why we mean now.
One last thing, Council President. You know that the USDA loan that we have a pre-application for Heckman Street has to be relocated. It's worthless at Heckman right now if you're not going to go through with the major renovation. It's sitting on Heckman Street. We have to make some connections down in Trenton to get it moved. Otherwise, we're going to be paying the bond back. I just didn't want you to forget that.
So let's do
That's something
this.
that can be done in the interim.
Let's do this. Tomorrow I have